this year? First thing you think of when you hear?
Team up north.
Chris, you were listing just a bunch of these linebackers, these younger linebackers that could kind of break out barring something going wrong. But so going into the season as a fifth-year senior, does that kind of change your approach with interacting with those guys?
Not at all. I'm a really genuine guy, so I kind of relate to people just by being me. So just being a fifth-year senior, it kind of gives me a certain amount of respect already for the young guys. They see a guy that's battle tested and been through the ringer a few times. So, but that doesn't really do anything if once they really get to know you, you're not, who they think you should be. And the thing with me is, I am who I am, and I wear my emotions on the sleeve. I wear who I am on the sleeve, and I'm upfront and honest with everyone. So, I think that's the real reason why the young guys respect it.
Yeah. So, but do you see yourself as coming in? You already come with experience. You're a leader on this team just by being a fifth-year senior, fifth-year starter, or a starter on this team as well. Does that add any pressure? I mean, you were a leader last year as well. But
Yeah, no, I don't think it doesn't add any pressure for me as far as leading those guys. I think the biggest amount of pressure is me on me, not me leading other guys. The biggest pressure is me critiquing myself. From some guys only can critique themselves playing college for 3 years. It's my fifth year critiquing myself, and every year you have to find a different approach to critique yourself if you want to get better. So that's the biggest challenge for me.
You're in an unusual spot because you started last year every game. You were, a go-to guy on the defense, but now you're thrust into a position to take over for a team leader in Raekwon. But you're not really taking over. You're just kind of continuing what you were doing. How have you helped guys like Barron, like Malik Harrison, returning from injuries, Justin Hilliard? How have the things you've been through over the last 5 years helped, put things in perspective for them?
Honestly, so, Barron, he came in and he didn't really, he don't know everything that I've been through throughout my college career because, he's new here. But even with Malik being here last year, he's seen some of the things that I went through within the past year, football or outside of football, things that I had to go through. And that gives him, a foundation sort of to look back on it and just say, that's the guy that I know can fight through something. Let me just come over here and, talk to him, hang out with him outside of football. Because honestly, the biggest thing with handling injuries is not really, when you're at the facilities, when you're around football. It's when you're at home and it's just you and your thoughts. You're thinking like I came here to play. I'm not playing. I'm talented. I'm a screw up. Like you're battling your own demons, and sometimes it's not about what you are. At the facilities, at practice. It's who you are outside of there. And with Malik, that came from hanging with him outside of the Woody, outside of practice, telling him to come over. Going out, downtown with him, just hanging out with him at night, or Barron, when he got here on his visit, I was his host, so I knew him a little bit, and like I said, I'm a genuine guy, so he knew I was a genuine guy, and once he had that injury, I told him nothing but the truth all the time. I told him it's gonna feel like you're getting looked over and no one knows you. You're going from being this 5-star recruit, highly coveted athlete. Now you're here and you just feel like you're nothing. And that's the biggest problem with like freshmen, especially like when you come in and get injuries. And with Barron, it was easy for me because I'd sort of seen that same thing happen to Marshawn when he got here. Marshawn got injured as soon as he got here. Talented athlete, and I just remember Marshawn feeling like he was just, like he was just going through the motions because all he was doing every day was waking up, going to treatment, going home, battling his thoughts. He wants to play, and that's a struggle. But the good thing about Barron is he should be healthy for camp, and he'll go back out there and play.
In a way, is it good for those young guys who come in 5-star guy? Is it good to face that adversity almost immediately?
I think so because, like I said earlier, you in life, It may not be football, but you're going to find some adversity at some point, you know, and it's just one of those things that you would prefer to happen earlier rather than later so you can know how to deal with it. And even if you don't handle the first adversity well, you can learn from it. You can see what you messed up on. When we won the national championship, we battled some adversity against Virginia Tech. Good thing that happened earlier rather than later. We learned from it, got better, and look where we ended up. So I think battling adversity is the best thing to happen early on.
Is it fair to say that there's nobody? Is it fair to say that it's almost impossible to go through your freshman year at Ohio State and not be miserable to some degree?
Yeah, you're going to be miserable at some point because just of the place. It's not an easy place to just go through.
Yeah.
And honestly, you shouldn't want anything easy, period. So, it's just a lot of times coming into Ohio State, you're going to get told it's going to be hard. But you never really know how hard it is until you actually go through it. So,
do you guys have a name for it, for the freshman misery?
That'd be a good name for it, wouldn't it?
And,
Freshman
it
misery.
ain't really a name. It's just you can see it in somebody's face. You just look at them like, yeah, he's going through it. Let me come over here and talk to him for a minute.
Hey, you wearing one of those wristbands, the One Strong wristbands?
Oh yeah.
What's the significance of that?
So after we lost, to Clemson, the way our year went, ups and downs, we kind of, kept overlooking little things because of we were winning. Sometimes the worst thing that can happen to a team is a win because, you may have played bad and there may have been some little things not done during the week, but you're so good that you can win. The loss sometimes is the best thing. That's honestly the best thing that happened to us when we won the national championship. We lost to Virginia Tech, and as soon as we did that, we took the little things into account. And it happened early, so it was easy to fix.
There's a wild rumor that Coach Myers has actually toned down his demeanor a little bit. Do you detect any of that, or is it premature to say for sure?
Yeah, it's premature. It was the off season. It was summer. He's going on vacation and taking his time off. He's out recruiting, so he's not really around. And every now and then he takes that deep breath because he gets to go on vacation in the summer, like most coaches do, because of the grind throughout the year. So I think that's probably why he might have a relaxed demeanor.
There's been
He's a grandchild now too.
Yeah, but I don't think that really, once football time comes, it's football time.
There's been so much talk of you moving to middle linebacker, Chris. Is there too much made of that? Because it's not like you're moving from wide receiver to middle linebacker. You're starting outside linebacker, or is that somewhat of a tough transition going from outside to inside?
I think in the grand scheme of things, it's a difficult transition, but for me, I don't think it is. So a lot of people might interpret it a different way. A lot of people may not really know what's being taught and what I know as a player. So I can't really say. That might be a question for everyone else, but for me, I don't think that's.
Did you have to bulk up a little bit to play middle linebacker? Or are you about the same size you were last year?
I'm about the same size. A lot of people don't realize that it's not really too much bulking up you can do in a game of football. Whether you were a 228-pound linebacker or you were a 245-pound linebacker, what are you bulking up for? To go against a 330-pound offensive lineman? Or you're 228, now you're 245. You're still going against, 330-pound lineman. It's not much you can, 15 pounds is not going to change. Really, not much. It's about probably the pop in your, explosiveness in your lower body, how you use your hands. That's what it's really about. It's really not about size.
Are you finished with the One Strong necklace or bracelet?
Be right back.